So just to spin off of this idea for a second, the ash is a really amazing medicine. If you read about ash and how it was used, you get to hear a bunch of really unusual terms like ash is a snake charm, snake protection, to keep evil spirits away, it'll say all of these different things about the lore of how indigenous people used ash. And so what I wanted to be able to share with you guys that kind of ties a lot of these ideas in together is that if you're looking at ash and the structure of the leaves, it's really cool because it ties a lot of these ideas in together where that interpretation technique. So the idea that all of these plants are sharing with you how they could be used, and about how sometimes there can be poisonous elements present here that are dangerous, but there's usually a remedy that we have. And sometimes when you go to research plants, you get really weird ideas presented to you like snake charms and omens and things like this. We just had a really interesting way to define a lot of these things. But what I wanted to share with everybody here is that ash is a medicine that we would use to be able to deter rattlesnakes. So rattlesnakes used to be very common all over Ontario, and this is a medicine we would tie bits of it to our shins if we were traveling. The tiknagan, or the cradle board that we put children in, is made exclusively of ash, which doesn't really make, which makes a lot of sense when you understand ash's responsibility in keeping snakes away. But like if you use ash, it's not a very pretty wood to use. It's very heavy. And it doesn't last very long. If you're making a cradle board, you could do something like cedar. It's very light, it'll be able to do the job, and it'll last generations, but it's not going to keep rattlesnakes away. So this is why you have to make your cradle boards have to be made with ash, and it's to keep the snakes away, because children don't know any better to grab things and maybe get attacked and bit. So ash is something that we use to keep rattlesnakes away. We put it all around our camps. We make sure that it's planted all around places where we live, and that's the role and function that it has. And I just wanted us to understand that this plant is showing us, making sure we can easily remember how to use this plant. And so the shape and structure of the leaves, we will say, is just like a rattlesnake. So to help the rattlesnakes rattle, to help us remember that this is how it can be used to keep all of the rattlesnakes away from our homes where we're sleeping and our children in the cradle board. So this idea that there's a lot of different things that can be harmful, but when you understand, like one of the things that my daughter says once, she heard on Spirit Riding Free on Netflix. She says, "Leaves of 3, leave it be." And then I told her, well, you're not going to have any liver medicine. You're not going to have any medicine for thrush. You're going to lose out on heart medicines and lung medicines. And if you avoid everything with 3 leaves, you're not going to have nothing. Lots of plants that have 3 leaves are good medicine. It's better to know which plants that have 3 leaves are poison ivy and which ones are going to be medicine. And then even in the case of you actually getting poison ivy, it's best to know the medicines that are there to help treat it, so that when you wake up in the morning, it's all gone. So there's knowledge's responsibility in giving us the opportunity to live here is the critical component that I wanted everyone to be able to understand. So ash and rattlesnakes and jewel weeds and poison ivy and the dogwood berries and the different kinds of poison ivy. So all of these things kind of are starting to tie in together. But yeah, this is fun.